Oh, well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday devotions from Hebron Chinese Alliance Church here in Sydney. Wherever you are logged in, it's great that you can enjoy us. Hope you've had an okay week, and hopefully, this time as we look into the Bible, it'll encourage you, give you a bit of a pick me up to carry you through the rest of today and into the week. So, if you've got a Bible, could you tune into Psalm 100? It's a short little psalm. I'm going to read it. So Psalm 100. I'll give you 5 seconds to quickly find it. Okay, Psalm 100. A psalm for giving grateful praise. Shout for joy to the Lord, all the earth. Worship the Lord with gladness. Come before him with joyful songs. Know that the Lord is God. It is he who made us, and we are his. We are his people, the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise his name. For the Lord is good and his love endures forever. His faithfulness continues through all generations. I wonder what is it that makes you go, woohoo? I wonder what is it that makes you get excited, that makes you go, yes, a bit of a fist pump, yes. The COVID restrictions are slowly being lifted, yes. Maybe a new store or a new place to eat is opening up soon. Your favorite MasterChef contestant is still in the competition. You've achieved a new PB. You made a dish and everybody who ate it just loved it, and you're like, yes, you got something right. Isn't it good when you get something right, or when you hand something on time? It's like, yes. I tend to get excited. I tend to go woohoo when I get given clear directions, when I know where I'm going. So last week I had to pick something up off a guy on Gumtree, and he gave me all these instructions. I want you to go between these two houses, down this long driveway. When you get here, turn right, don't go left. He screenshotted Google Maps for me, and with all these squiggles and arrows and a cross, don't go here, circle, this is where I want you to go. And so there I am following this map. And when I got to his house, I was like, yes, there's nothing like clear directions to make you go woohoo, to get you excited, to make you go, yes. Psalm 100 is all about direction. Psalm 100 is all about giving us clear directions. It points us straight to God. No one else, just directs our attention, our gaze, directs us straight towards God. I guess you could say the author here is being a bit like an air stewardess, bathrooms, exit, life jacket. An air stewardess, they give you clear directions. This psalm gives us clear directions to God, to who God is, what God is like, and how we ought to respond to God. You'll also notice that this psalm is a happy psalm, shout for joy, worship the Lord in gladness. But you may not feel like doing that today. Uh, so, therefore, does this psalm apply? Well, this psalm is a great comforter. It is good for the soul. It is a great pick me up because in a time of disorientation, it orientates ourselves towards God. I mean, with Corona, it's kind of thrown everything up in the air. In a time of disorientation, this psalm orientates us to God. And the reason why is because we can know what God is like. We can know God. And so you'll notice that in throughout this psalm, where it says Lord, it's in small caps. So shout for joy to the Lord, worship the Lord, know that the Lord. And so what the Bible translators there are doing is that it is denoting Yahweh, the personal name that God gave to his people. So God brings his people up out of slavery into the promised land, and he reveals his personal name to them, Yahweh. I guess you could say it's a bit difference between, say, father and daddy. Like as a small child says, daddy. Well, here, God, Lord, Yahweh has made himself known to his people. And now that doesn't mean that, Yahweh is just this local deity. No, the Lord is God, the God of the universe. So the God of the universe has made himself known. It's as if he's come knocking and made himself known to his people. I mean, we all know who the PM is. But imagine if he came knocking on your front door tonight and said, "Oh, I'd like to come over for dinner." Then you'd get to know him. You wouldn't necessarily know him as the PM, you'd know him therefore as Scott. The God of the universe, the Lord who is God, has made himself known to his people. And we can know what the Lord is like. So if you look what it says in verse 5, the Lord is good, the Lord's love endures forever, the Lord's faithful throughout all the generations. So the Lord is good, is faithful, is loving forever. You know, this season will pass until the next one, whenever or whatever that is. But through it all, we can know that the Lord is good, that the Lord's love for you is unchanging. And so, therefore, the psalm directs us to the Lord, that the Lord has made himself known, and we can know what the Lord is like. The Lord is good, and his love, and he's faithful forever. And so, therefore, who better to direct ourselves towards? Who better to orientate ourselves towards the Lord? Just like you go to a trusted friend or family member or work colleague, we can go to the Lord because the Lord has made himself known, and we can know what the Lord is like. And the psalmist also directs us how we ought to respond to the Lord. There's this lollipop lady at my girls' school. You know, you see them at the pedestrian crossings. Some of them are hopeless because they're asleep on their sign. Others are too busy texting or chatting, but not this lady. She loves her job, and she's very direct and methodical with her arm movements. So she'll be like, and even when you drive past her, you know, she doesn't tune out. She's like, now, when I see her, it just fills me with confidence because I know what I need to do. If you see a lollipop person asleep or talking on their phone, you're not quite sure. But this lady, and it just fills you with confidence. That's how I respond when I see her. This psalm has directed us to the Lord. The Lord has made himself known. We can know what the Lord is like and tells us how we ought to respond to the Lord. And so, again, in verse 1, shout for joy, worship the Lord, know that the Lord, enter his gates, give thanks to him. All these things we ought to do, all these verbs shout, worship, come before, know, enter, give thanks. These are all doing things in response to knowing that the Lord has made himself known and to knowing what the Lord is like. This is how we ought to respond. But again, you may not feel like it. You may not feel like shouting for joy or being glad. But sometimes all you need to do is to know. Sometimes that's all you got. You know, when you're stuck in a tough time in a situation that you can't get out of, it's just to know. I know that when I've been in a really crummy situation, you know, that's all I got. You know, stuck in an ER, all you got is to know. Know that the Lord has made himself known, to know what the Lord is like, and to know that I am his. Sometimes that's all you got is just to know who you are and where you are. You are his and you're in his pasture. Sometimes that's all that is necessary. It's to know the Lord. So this psalm, the author has directed ourselves to the Lord. The Lord has made himself known. We can know what the Lord is like, and we can know how we ought to respond to the Lord. And the whole earth is invited to respond to the earth. You know, shout for joy to the Lord, all the earth. But the thing is, it doesn't. Quite a big chunk of it is in active rebellion. And so if the earth isn't going to do this, who will? Well, that's us. We are his people. If not us, then who? This psalm is a big invitation to the whole earth, but primarily it's an invitation to us as God's people, as the Lord's people, to worship him. And the thing is, we can do this anywhere on God's earth. We don't need to enter into a temple or a special holy place or a court. Rather, it's because of Jesus that we can worship God anywhere. You know, Jesus is the great door knock from God to all the earth to come to know God. And by Jesus' death and resurrection, we can be brought near to God. And if your trust is in him, well, you are the temple of the Holy Spirit. And it's not so much about coming before the Lord, but going out with the Lord wherever. The earth is our court. to worship the Lord. And so, therefore, whatever gate, door, entrance you walk through, orientate yourself towards the Lord. You put key in your front door. As you walk in, orientate yourself to the Lord, to all that happens. When you open the car door, sit down. Orientate yourself towards the Lord. You walk through the uni gates, orientate yourself to the Lord. Wherever you may be, orientate yourself to the Lord. Wherever you are on God's earth, the Lord has made himself known. You can know the Lord. Respond to the Lord. And don't forget that you and a whole bunch of others are part of his people. You know, church is about his people. We are in his pasture. It is he who has made us. We are his. And so, by way of encouragement, can I get you to fire off verse 3 to someone this week? Just to pick them up, to orientate themselves. Feel free to put it in nice calligraphy with a nice sunset in the background. Put it on your Insta. Fire it off to someone. Because someone could be hurting, someone could be doubting, someone could be disorientated. And Lord willing, these verses will orientate them to the Lord. So I guess maybe we can be like that lollipop lady, directing each other towards the Lord. And so there are many things that make us go woohoo. There are many things that get us excited. And this morning, one of my daughters, who is frequently late, she was on time, and I was like, woohoo. But enough about her. There are many things that make us go woohoo. The ultimate one is knowing that the Lord has made himself known. We can know what the Lord is like. The Lord is good and his love endures forever. And we can know how to respond to the Lord. We can know how we ought to respond to who the Lord is and what the Lord has done for us in Jesus. We can respond by singing and shouting for joy, or just simply knowing that we are his and that we are in his pasture. So today, wherever you find yourself, orientate yourself to the Lord. Feel free to give yourself a little fist pump as well, just to say, yes, I know the Lord and I know I am one of his. I'm going to pray. Dear God, thank you that you have made yourself known. We don't have to guess. We can know the God of the universe. You have entered into this world through your Son, Jesus. We are your temple. And so wherever we go, wherever we enter, whichever door we walk through, I pray that we would orientate our lives towards you, that we would worship you, even if things are tough, we feel disorientated or anxious or uncertain, we can know who you are, know that we are yours. So help us to do this today, and help us to encourage our brothers and sisters in this as well. Help us to orientate and point themselves to the Lord, to who you are and what you have done for them. Amen. Well, thanks for tuning in, my friends. Again, just keep pointing each other towards the Lord. Orientate yourself and each other towards the Lord. I hope to see you on Sunday at our live stream church service, good old 10 o'clock. We're also having Lord's Supper this Sunday. So make sure you get yourself a bit of bread or a biscuit and get yourself a bit of juice, or dare I say, it's not too early for some wine, because we'll be Lord's Supper. And again, that's just a great time to get together and orientate ourselves to who Jesus is and what he has done for us on the cross. I hope you have a great day orientating yourself towards the Lord. Catch ya.